Will my new or old hardware work with a Linux installation? Imagine setting up a new computer or trying to breathe new life into an old machine. You might wonder if Linux will run smoothly on your hardware. Well, the answer depends on a few key points. First, Linux is built around its kernel, which is like the core of the operating system. The kernel contains drivers that communicate with your hardware components like processors, storage drives, graphics cards, and network cards. Most modern Linux distributions support a wide range of hardware because the kernel is updated regularly. If you have a recent computer from a major manufacturer, chances are high that Linux will work well. These companies often collaborate with Linux developers to include drivers for their hardware. For example, newer Intel and AMD processors, solid-state drives, and common peripherals like printers and webcams are usually supported out of the box. However, very new or specialized hardware might need some extra checking. For instance, if you have a high-end gaming graphics card or a cutting-edge Wi-Fi adapter, you should look up compatibility lists or forums before installing Linux. Websites like linuxhardware.org collect user reports on what works and what doesn't, making it easier to see if your specific components are supported. Older hardware can sometimes be tricky. If your system is more than 5 years old, some drivers might no longer be maintained or included in the latest Linux kernels. But many lightweight Linux distributions are designed for older machines and can run on systems with less than 2 gigabytes of RAM and older CPUs. These distributions often support older hardware better because they use less demanding drivers and software. To check if your hardware will work, start by visiting the hardware compatibility lists provided by popular Linux distributions like Ubuntu or Fedora. You can also browse online forums or communities where users share their experiences with similar hardware setups. In some cases, you might need to update your BIOS or UEFI firmware to improve hardware support. Also, consider creating a live USB or live CD of the Linux distribution you want to try. Booting from this live environment allows you to test hardware compatibility without installing anything permanently. Remember, most modern hardware from well-known brands will likely work with Linux, especially if it's not very specialized or brand new. Compatibility issues are less common than they used to be, thanks to ongoing collaboration between hardware vendors and Linux developers. But doing a little research beforehand can save you time and frustration. So, whether your hardware is fresh or vintage, checking online resources and testing with a live version of Linux can help you decide if your system is ready for a Linux installation. It's all about making sure your components can talk to the operating system smoothly, so you can enjoy all the benefits Linux has to offer.